Welcome back to Architect TV. Here's Hussam with you from Giuliani Associates. So today we're going to go furthermore in the render option and tell you more about how you put the right setting for what you need. So it's not that complicated, but what you need to do when you study, you have from the beginning, you have to know what the client need to see, like still images, animation. Are you going to do like post-production thing on top of the final rendering? Is it a test rendering? Is it first phase rendering, and so on? So all of these information, it's really matter because it will save you a lot of time to decide what you're gonna do. Okay, let's go ahead and see what is the option that we want to work on right now. Okay, we talked about the basic render option last time. Okay, for today we're gonna talk about the preset, how we can save a preset that we're gonna work on in the rendering, how we can get the right size for the rendering that we need before we have the final, and that will give us a good quality as well. So let's go ahead and talk about those things. So like what we was saying last time is how to put the information for the rendering. The really important thing right now is how to get the right size. Okay, let's say that you want to provide 11 by 17 for the client. So what numbers that we have to put in here? 800 by 500 or whatever. Okay, most of the people, they really don't know the relationship between those numbers because those are pixels. Okay, so what is the relation between those? So Autodesk, they came up with really good tools that it tells you what size of pixels you need to provide a good quality. So if you go to rendering and you go all the way down, you find something called a print size assistant. Okay, so if you click on that one, that will bring the window of the print size wizard. Okay, there is a built-in preset. So if we go to the paper size and I click on the arrow, then you will find a save built-in different type of common paper size we use all the time. Like if we want to go with the legal, which is 11 by 17, that the print size wizard, it will tells you are you gonna use what unit you're gonna use, inches or millimeter. Of course, if we select legal from here, it means inches, which is 11 by 17. Okay, I'm sorry, yeah, I think I'm it's a tableau. Yeah, so if we select tableau, it will give us the right size, which is 11 by 17, as you notice over here. And then the dpi, which is how much dot do you have per pixels, which is 200. And then it will tell you the right size of pixels you need to provide a good quality, which is 3400 by 2200. So imagine if we want to do a landscape, 11 by 17, 200 dpi, and then if I'm okay with that, I just have to click on render setup, and that will take the setting from the print wizard and put them in here for you. As you notice, it turned them to 3400 to 200 over here. So if I go back to the rendering print size assistant over here, and if you want to use a millimeter, that will turn the papers, and even the custom to the, and you select, for example, A4, for example. If you select A4, that will turn them to the millimeter 21 by 29. and so on. So it depends on what unit you want to use, what's the dBi setting you need. If I go ahead and select letter size, and of course you notice when you go lower size, the dBi go up. So the smallest size, the dBi go up. If I go and select 11 by 17, it goes down. If I go ahead and I select a bigger size like D size, which is 34 inches by 22 inches, the dBi will go down. And this is the relation between how much dBi you need in 1 pixels and the size, of course. And again, it will give you the right size that you need for your final rendering over here. And then if you want to save where you want to save the size, the file, same thing, you click Save Files and File, and you go to Render Setting, and of course you do like test 1 or 2 already did test 1, so test 2, save type as TIFF. So automatically it will give you a TIFF, which is mean 3D Studio Max, it tells you right now this is the good format you have to go with if you want a really good quality for the rendering, and you hit save. Okay, then if you want to compress the file, you can click on compress, and that will compress even the TIFF, but I'm not gonna advise you, I'm not gonna recommend this, so leave it as is. And you go to render setup right now, and you have the other option for your rendering. So if I hit render right now, what's going to happen, it will render the final result with the same size that we select over here, and then it will save it as a TIFF. If we go to the folder, as you can see, is the TIFF right now. So this is really good quality, but you notice the size, if I go properties, so the size here is 21 meg. Okay, if I go to JPEG and see, it's 18 kilobytes. So you see the difference between these two sizes. So using a TIFF, it's really consuming a lot of space in your hard drive. So make sure you're gonna use this for, like the sub-final or the first final or whatever you need, but JPEG, make them for yourself as a test rendering. Okay, okay. So for now, what I'm gonna do, just to give you an example about the preset thing, so I have to go and open one of the ready scene that came with 3D Studio Max. Let's go ahead and maybe select this one here, Studio Scene. This scene is actually built in within 3D Studio Max, so you'll find it in any version of 3D Studio Max. It's a Monterey scene. So if I hit F10, that will bring the render setup. Okay, you notice right now is the render is turned to Monterey automatically, because this is what saved with the scene itself. So if and the size is 700 by 400, so if I hit rendering right now, you will notice of course the render viewport starting rendering, and you notice even there is like a quick setting for Monterey that is sitting here, so you can actually play around with those things. The good thing about the Monterey and even V-Ray, it's like called progressive render, which is mean that will give you an idea first how the light will be assigned in your scene, and you can right away you can stop your rendering or pause it or even cancel it, because this is what you want to see in your scene, is the light is good, is not. And then if you want to go more, you can just hit resume and you can continue rendering. But this type of rendering over here, even if it's not final render, but it will give you an idea how the light is actually assigned to your scene, and you can stop and you can change the light type or the light, whatever you need, and then you go ahead and re-render it again. So don't spend that much time when you hit rendering and you wait till everything finished. So at the beginning you can tell if the lighting is good or not. Those setting is very quick setting in Mentor Ray. So by default the scene was saved with the low final gather precision. Okay, if we want to save another preset, let's say we go with the medium, and then I can go to preset over here and I save a preset. Let's say that test Mentor Ray 01 medium. Okay, MD medium. So this is the preset medium for this scene. So if I hit save, it will ask me what you want to save for this preset, what you want to update. So I can select one of those, but for now I will keep them all selected, so I make sure everything gonna be okay. And then I can save another one with the high setting, and I go here and I hit save a preset. I will select the same, but I will call HT like height setting, and I hit save. So now if I want to go back between those different settings, I would just have to go and select the MD and then hit load, and you notice that will load the medium setting. Any other setting in the scene you will change, it will save it at the same time. Okay, it will save it. So this is one of the things that you can play. So, and this is really good for the preset. You can even save them and use them in another scene. The problem with the preset, it depends on the unit you use, the scale of the project you use. So some of the people said, okay, if we have the preset ready to go from here, why I just have to, bother myself and be professional? I just have to load the right preset for my scene and just hit rendering, and I'll have a good quality of rendering. This is unfortunately not the case. The preset is good for your work, personal work, so you can save your own preset and use them over and over on the same scene or a different scene at the same size with the same unit, but they are not going to be a good choice to just save the preset and use them over and over between different scenes. Okay, so be careful when you're using a preset thing. It's not good enough for everything. It should be enough just for the same scene or something like that. So we'll go ahead and do the rendering, but notice here and here there's something called area to render. So right now it's a view. The view, it means the whole thing. So if I hit rendering, that will start render everything. As you can see, everything gonna be rendered. So I don't want everything to be rendered. Okay, I just want to see this part of the rendering. So I can go from here, I select region, and that will give me like a red area over here, and I can just move it around and I can select what area I want to render. And this is for most of the render engines, they have the same thing. So if I select this and I hit render again, that will just render this region. And this is like, it will speed up your rendering test. So rather than you spend more time on the other areas that it's not really matter, you just can do it in here. Okay. The other option, which is really good, imagine that I want to change this color and I want to look at it. Okay, so I go and open the material editor over here. Okay, and I'm gonna select this material and I want to change the color. I want to see how the color looks like. Okay, change it like this. Okay, and then I will hit rendering. I'm sorry, right now it's still the region. See how much time the region took to render everything. But if I change this to selected, which I'm still selecting this object, and I hit rendering, oops, sorry, select the object and go here and hit selected and hit rendering. Oh, because unfortunately they are still grouped with the light. So, but you see how fast it was, and then it will just render the setup at the studio world. So if I select these two and hit render right now, it will just render those two objects in the scene. That's why it takes so fast to show me what I'm gonna rendering right now. So this is very quick. Another tips in the render option, and I will continue explain more about the rendering in the next episode. So thank you so much for watching us, and hopefully you enjoy this lecture as well, and be tuned for the next one. We will have more fun stuff in the next one as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.